You're getting too close. Because there's a spot there where it drops off, and we don't.
Life-threatening flash flooding escalated across the South and Ohio Valley this weekend, as extreme rainfall triggered a generational event. At least 17 people have died as a result of the days-long outbreak of destructive weather.
You gotta run, Brad.
10 deaths have been confirmed in Tennessee alone, as well as 2 in Kentucky and 2 in Missouri. Arkansas, Indiana, and Mississippi each reported 1 death. With the weather still unfolding, officials are bracing for more casualties. Tornado warnings stretched across Alabama and Mississippi Saturday night into early Sunday morning. Tornadoes were reported in New Albany and Blue Springs, Mississippi, and near the city of Oxford. In Jasper County, a woman died after a suspected tornado destroyed her mobile home. In Arkansas, flooding ripped apart a railroad bridge, causing a train to derail and tumble into the rising river below. The Arkansas Division of Emergency Management confirmed the state's first storm-related death on Saturday. A 5-year-old boy was found inside a home in southwest Little Rock. No other details of the death were provided. In Kentucky, hundreds of roads have been closed due to rising floodwaters, mudslides, and rock slides, leaving many communities cut off from vital services. Officials are urging residents to avoid travel unless evacuated.
This is historic out here.
Local authorities have declared a state of emergency in multiple areas as swollen rivers and saturated ground continue to pose an overwhelming threat. Emergency response teams are stretched thin, working in dangerous conditions to rescue stranded residents. The situation is compounded by the possibility of more tornadoes, which have already devastated parts of the region, and the ongoing threat of damaging winds and hail. This fast-moving, multifaceted storm system is set to continue causing havoc across the region. The National Weather Service has issued urgent warnings for residents in the path of the storms to take immediate shelter and stay updated on emergency alerts. The Ohio River Forecast Center says the Kentucky River at the Frankfort Lock is expected to reach 49.5 feet around 8 a.m. Monday. If the river reaches that level, it will break the current record of 48.7 feet in 1978.
And as you can see, we have
Sunday morning, the Frankfort Plant Board asked residents to limit water usage to only essential usage, saying that the city's water storage tanks are currently full. They say they will let the community know when water usage can go back to normal.
Here in Frankfort, Kentucky.
In a video posted to the Franklin Company Fiscal Court's Facebook page, Frankfort Mayor Lane Wilkerson says that they are closely monitoring updates as they are provided by the National Weather Service and said that the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. We ask everyone to take this seriously, said Wilkerson. We can't take anything too lightly here.
And it's still fucking raining.
Wilkerson encourages people living in flood-prone areas to make preparations to evacuate and do so sooner rather than later. Drone video from photographer Ben Childers shows the extent of the flooding in the Frankfort area. It is a similar story for Camp Nelson, which reached 46.87 feet around 12:15 p.m. Sunday. The forecast predicts waters to start to go down but stay above the major flood stage until around 8 p.m. on Monday. The previous record for the Kentucky River at Camp Nelson was 46.8 feet in 2010. Sunday morning, Garrett Company, EMA/SEP posted that due to rising water levels of the Kentucky River, the Camp Nelson RV Park was evacuated. They encourage Garrett Company residents to follow all official instructions. A popular bourbon distillery is closed Sunday due to flooding. In a statement posted to social media, Buffalo Trace Distillery said its facility will be closed to both customers and employees through Thursday at least. However, they said that is subject to change and will provide updates as they become available. Due to the unprecedented and ongoing rain and flooding, we are not able to advise on the impact to our total distillery footprint, the distillery said. We will assess those realities in the coming days as the facilities become safe to navigate and will make necessary adjustments to operations as required. This comes as Governor Andy Beshear announced on social media many homes in Frankfurt, where Buffalo Trace Distillery is, were being evacuated and the water supply is limited. "We need everyone in the area to work together to conserve water," he said on social media. He added all state offices in the area will be closed Monday to help. Deborah Bobbitt can't quite believe that floodwaters could reach into her mother's former home, where she spent much of her childhood in Frankfurt. But with the Kentucky River expected to crest at a record level of 49.5 feet following several days of unrelenting rain, her family and friends worked Sunday afternoon to move couches, tables, and more from the home along Murray Street. Just a couple houses over, the swollen river had already partially submerged the homes of people Bobbitt, 64, says she knows from growing up together. The river's expected crest Monday morning would beat the previous record by a foot if realized, according to a projection by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. "I just hate that all these people down here. We grew up with them," Bobbitt said. "I just pray for our community." The state capital of Frankfurt is one of a number of communities across Kentucky grappling with a deluge of flash flooding from torrential rainfall over the past several days. More than a foot of rain in some parts of the state. That's now caused rivers to rise, leading to evacuations along the Kentucky River in Frankfurt and in the Pendleton County cities of Falmouth and Butler along the Licking River. In Carroll County, the deputy judge executive Sunday afternoon ordered the mandatory evacuation of some areas because of a release of water from gates on Dick's Dam along the Kentucky River. Rob Adams, the mayor of the Carroll County seat of Carrollton, in a live stream video on Facebook, said the water release was planned. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear closed all state offices Monday, given that flooding was limiting the available water supply in Frankfurt, and he urged Frankfurt residents to conserve water. The city utility Frankfurt Plant Board in a Sunday morning Facebook post wrote electrical equipment used to pump water from the river had to be turned off due to the flooding and that the city was relying on water storage tanks. After being told to evacuate, Ben Bramble, a 21-year-old lifelong resident of Frankfurt, was moving furniture Sunday afternoon out of his rental duplex in the rain along East 3rd Street with the help of his family. With the expected record river crest and floodwaters surrounding homes just a couple blocks away, he wasn't sure what he will come back to when the river finally recedes. Bramble said flooding is a recurring problem for the state. But no matter how many floods you've experienced, there's nothing to be done once you've been told to evacuate. "It's going to be higher than we could ever have thought," Bramble said. "I really just hope that we can come back to our house and have it still here." Flash flooding led to stranded vehicles in Midtown and downtown Mobile, nearly 13 inches of rain near Daphne, and a warning from the Spanish Fort mayor for people to stay home overnight. The slow-moving weather system created a flooding mess in downtown Mobile. Images shared on social media showed dangerous floodwaters along high-traffic areas of Broad and Government Streets in downtown Mobile. Flooding also submerged streets in Midtown Mobile and left at least one vehicle stranded near Daphne's Jubilee Square. Warnings were posted on Facebook for people to stay away from Alabama State Route 181 at Malbus near Interstate 10. Spanish Fort Mayor Mike McMillan, in a social media post, is telling residents to stay off the roads due to massive flooding all around the city. He said there are concerns about the integrity of the city's roads, and that city crews will not realize their status until daylight. "Please stay at home," McMillan said. He said that portions of Alabama State Route 225 between Spanish Fort and Stockton is impassable. US 31 is also flooded in several locations, the mayor said. The Baldwin County Emergency Management Agency is encouraging anyone who experienced damage from the storm to report it to their official channels. The agency said people should not be out surveying storm damage and urged people to stay off the roads unless absolutely necessary. In Mobile County, public schools will be in session as scheduled Monday morning. According to a Facebook post, there was a bogus message placed on social media platforms that indicated school had been canceled. That is not the case, the school system's posting suggests. As of 6 a.m. Monday, the Alabama Department of Transportation is urging people to find alternative routes than US 90 and Daphne. According to a Facebook post, the highway between Bayview Drive and Baldwin County 13 is closed due to erosion.
The entirety of Dolphin Street is flooded.
As severe weather made its way through central Indiana this week, many southern counties felt the effects days later with high water. In Franklin, several roads and almost every low-lying spot was underwater. The water rose immensely, Police Chief Kirby Cochran said. Cochran says a big problem now has been people driving through barriers that are blocking these high spots. Even with marked vehicles, folks in uniform and blocked road signs, people still want to get out and take photos, he said. He told local media that while he understands people want to see these areas, it's best to stay in your car and find a safer route. We don't want folks driving in it. We don't want you in it. The water behind me is moving really fast, and you will not be able to outswim it, he said. As more rain comes in, city and county departments will work closely to make sure there are enough people to block any more flooded areas. Cochran says there are already extra measures in place, like alarms that will alert them of extreme high water that were installed after the historic flood of 2008. We have an emergency plan in place, and we have a specific flood plan for this city, and we are confident, he said. For the next few days, residents are urged to call the non-emergency number if they see any high water that may not have a barrier around it, and you can contact them at 317-736-3670.